Hello and welcome to Outside In. Just as I got ready to do this video, the wind started blowing. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad, because if it does, I'll have to just do a voiceover. I'm going to be doing a couple videos today, so I'll probably be wearing the same clothes. I was on the road one day and I came up to a stop sign and I turned left. As I was getting ready to straighten up, the truck kept wanting to go left, so I had to physically bring the steering wheel back to straighten up the truck. And I thought that was rather odd, but then I also started thinking maybe it was just my imagination, so I continued to drive. I went to a stop sign and I had to turn left again. As I was getting ready to straighten up, the truck wanted to stay going left. I had to physically bring the steering wheel back again, so I knew something was wrong. What I noticed then was that my steering became stiff, as if the power steering pump wasn't working. And anyone who's ever driven a vehicle that the power steering pump quit working, you know what that's like. It's kind of hard to drive because you're fighting it to stay straight in the road. When I got home, I opened up the hood and I looked at the power steering fluid and it was full. Also, what I thought was odd is that I never once had a whining sound that you would normally hear on a power steering pump that's going bad. If your power steering pump is starting to go bad, you're first going to notice, from my experience anyway, when you make a extreme turn, once you get to where the steering wheel almost stops, you're going to hear a whine. And then when you bring it back and drive normally, the whine will go away. Well, that's in the beginning stages, I believe. The further you go along without addressing the issue, the sooner the whine is going to start as you're turning it. And then if you keep letting it go, it'll whine all the time. The first thing you want to check, obviously, is the fluid level in your power steering pump. Make sure it's full. If it is full, then your power steering pump is just bad. It needs to be replaced. But that's with my experience. You research like I did, you will find there are a number of videos that address this very issue. But one video I've never found is what I'm about to show you. If you're not having any whining from your power steering pump at all, and you're positive that the power steering pump is good, there is another thing to look at. This is a 2007 Ford Expedition. This is the same thing that would happen with a 250, a 350, a Chevy, a Toyota. It doesn't matter what you own as long as you have the shaft like is in this vehicle. And on this vehicle you have an upper and a lower steering wheel shaft. And usually always the problem is with the lower steering wheel shaft. It has two universal joints, one on the top and one on the bottom of the shaft. And when those universal joints get low on grease or get dry, they become stiff. And when you're making a turn, that knuckle is turning all over the place. And if there's no grease in it, then it's going to cause a real stiff steering. And it'll make you think that your power steering pump has went out. It's like, there's got to be a way I can do something to get by until I can afford to get a shaft. Now, please, I'm asking that you don't do this as a permanent fix, because I don't know how long this may last. What a lot of videos will tell you is that to fix this issue, you can remove the lower steering wheel shaft. If you have to do an oil change, then you can use the oil that you got from your change to soak that lower shaft in to re-oil, if you will, the universal joints on that shaft. And let it soak, they say, for 15, 20 minutes, an hour, however long you want it to set in there. And then after it soaks for a while, it gets in. You give it time to really get into everything, so it can re-lubricate, and then it will free everything up. And most people say that once they do this procedure, that they are steering like it was brand new. And if it ever comes to where I can afford to buy another shaft, I will create a video showing how to replace that. But like I said, there are a number of videos that show how to replace this. I started thinking, is there another way that I can do this without having to remove that shaft? And you don't have to have any tools, absolutely zero tools. No screwdrivers, no wrenches, no anything. You don't have to take anything off, you don't have to put anything back on, and this is what I did, and I wanted to show you, and hopefully it will help somebody to be able to get through, because you may not have tools. to do this. This is an expedition. I'm sure this will work on an F-150, a 250. Let's get right to it. Okay, now first what I want to show you, the only thing you're going to need for this is 2 liquids. And I chose WD-40. Hopefully you can see that, but that is penetrating oil. So it doesn't have to be WD-40. Just any penetrating oil should work. And the reason that you want to use a penetrant oil is because it gets down inside of everything. But then I got to thinking too, I was a truck driver for 24 years, so we used white lithium grease a lot. White lithium grease is an incredible product to use. So I also stuck with WD-40 and I bought the white lithium grease fluid. But the first thing you want to use, obviously, is the penetrating oil to get down inside of the joints. And I'm going to show you how to do the top and then show you how to do the bottom. Now right there where my flashlight is the universal joint on the lower steering wheel shaft on the top. That's the top joint right there. Now it looks white only because I've already done this. But I'm going to do it again if I can hold the camera and the light at the same time while I'm spraying. What you're going to be concerned with is the lower shaft, which is right there. And it goes all the way down. And then at the bottom there is another one of those universal joints. Okay, so let me see if I can hold the camera and the light at the exact same time and take my penetrating oil and squirt in there really good and just soak it. You want to make sure you soak it really well. Then go underneath of your vehicle, okay, on the driver's side. And the only thing you'll have to do is get dirty because you're laying on the ground. Okay, but see right there is the oil filter on this expedition. And if you just look beyond the oil filter, you'll see the lower universal joint of the lower steering wheel shaft. If you can see it in there. And then what we're going to do is if I can do this right, we're going to spray. We'll spray that really good as well. Spray it down really good. Okay. You'll just want to wait for like 15 minutes or so, 30 minutes maybe. Give the penetrating oil enough time to get soaked in. You could also go in and turn your steering wheel back and forth just to make sure it gets in there really well, but I never did that. So what I did then was I took the white lithium grease and then if I can do this without getting in the way of the camera. Okay, let's see. This is kind of difficult to do. Then I took a white lithium grease and I just drenched it. And that's the top one. And then I went back down on the bottom to get dirty again. And then also drenched the lower joint really well. Okay, so that hopefully, I'm hoping that this helps somebody. I let the penetrating oil soak. It must have been 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And then I went in with the white lithium grease and I just drenched both of those universal joints on the lower steering wheel shaft. I was skeptical, is this even going to work? I was just not only looking for another way of doing this without having to remove anything, but also for people that may not have any tools available to them. They don't work on their cars a lot, and this may be the first thing that's ever happened to you, and you just never have gotten tools because you didn't think you needed them. So without any tools at all, I just wanted to show you that it's possible to do this fix and still keep in mind this is temporary. I do want to be able to get a new lower shaft, but right now $230 is absolutely too much money for me right now. I really truly hope that this has helped. If you're having a problem with your steering being really stiff, like your power steering pump is bad, you may take it to a dealership or a garage and they'll just tell you that your pump is bad, and then you'll go through the expense of replacing the pump, but you're still going to have that stiff steering. And the reason is because the shaft is dry and needs to be lubricated. So the penetrating oil gets down in there and breaks everything up, and then the white lithium grease coming back behind it with that will allow it to soak in. But when I got into the truck and I drove it down the road, oh my goodness, it was like a brand new truck. The way it steered, it was incredible. So it does work with no tools. Okay, so I just thought, since I had seen no videos about this, I thought I would create a video of my own and show you that if you don't have tools, you can still do this fix. So hopefully this worked for you. Please let me know in the comments if it did work for you, and share this video with somebody else that you know that could benefit from this. I do apologize, it's been a while since I've made videos. Trying to come up with ideas all the time, and I run out of ideas, and when I have an issue with my truck, I think, okay, that's a great idea to make a video, especially if it's something that I really feel is going to help somebody. Now the video I'm going to be doing next is going to be replacing, because I had another issue with my truck, I'm replacing the throttle body. So that's what the next video is going to be. So stay tuned for that. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, find somebody that needs a reason to go on and give them that reason. God bless each and every one of us, and I will see you in the next one.